Good afternoon. Actually, good evening, folks. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Coming here live on YouTube. We are doing our muscle talk a little later today. I had an interview earlier this afternoon. And I said, let's push it back a little bit. Maybe we get some more people who want to jump on. So, folks, time is flying. Can you believe it? Like I said earlier, it's already September, and the race for the Olympia is getting very, very close. We have at least one more show coming up this weekend. They have not dropped the list of who's officially competing show yet. There's some confirmations here and there, but no really officials just yet. So we're gonna give our thoughts and thoughts on it. We have here right here sitting in here with my man. He's tired, but he came time gone here with us. My man, my big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams. The man has hand on my girl.
What up? Hey, she influenced everybody right now because she locked in from what I can see.
Yeah, I've seen some. I think this is no doubt that Andrea is going to win this show.
Oh yeah,
I,
she ain't
you
fucking around.
know, everybody's talking about where she lost at the Rising Phoenix, but here's this. That's the Rising Phoenix,
Not the Olympia.
not the Olympia.
That's
I
not the
mean,
Olympia.
it was the Rising Phoenix for a good while was the Olympia for women's bodybuilding when after they got kicked out, but now they're back. It's now more like closer to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic for women's bodybuilding. So or the Miss International, which I consider really was truthfully one of the best secondary titles for women's bodybuilding. So we're going to talk about with the show being so close, opportunities for competitors to try to jump on. As I said again, there is Europa Pro in the UK, and I saw some names here and there. Some are confirmations, some are like out there, and some that should maybe do this show. But we're going to talk about my man Big Keith, and he's getting ready. He's going to be doing a show in another 3 weeks out from the Legion Sports Festival, and that's I think for qualification for next year's Olympia. And also there's a show I think that week after, which is the Titan Grand Prix, which is I believe is also qualification. I think some people talk about it's qualification for this year's Olympia, but
Well,
from not
it's the week before, so that shows in 2 weeks. Two and a,
2 weeks,
two.
2 weeks. Yeah, and I know some ladies who said they're doing this show. I'm not saying any names, so I'm going to keep it close to the vest when we officially announce it. So, we lost my brother. He'll be back. He has that, like my man, like he have to like pick out. Keith has that Obama Wi-Fi. so, so we're gonna give our thoughts about who should try to do this show that's coming up at the UK. I don't know. We'll get some guesses who possibly might do the show. Now, I follow a certain channel that is hardcore female bodybuilding channel, and shouts to them over there. They're probably one of the few people outside of the United States, other than the female bodybuilding channel, that does content mostly on female bodybuilding. And he put out this is where he showed the list. The show for the Europa is going to be Saturday the 14th, and it's going to be pretty much all 10 divisions from women's bodybuilding all the way down to men's bodybuilding. Most of the divisions, I think, in this show. The list is officially, but we don't know who's yet going to compete the show. Now, one person who I heard is going to do the show is excuse me. I already heard that she's doing. Not this is another video. She's already confirmed she's doing the show. Is Nadia Capasoto. Now, Nadia already got a qualification. As she knows, she won the Imperio about 2 or 3 months ago. And this is why I even said this. Why is she doing this show?
Here's the thing. What I realized about a lot of these girls doing these shows is that they know that they can possibly. It's not about qualification for them anymore. It's about money. When I used to watch Dexter compete, when he come into the Tampa or he come into New York and he's already qualified for the Olympia, I'm like, why is he doing it? One, I think for two reasons for Dexter was because he has the most wins out of any IFBB pro bodybuilder in history, and two, it's an extra check. for these girls that don't think, and I mean, let's be honest, maybe she can place in the top five, maybe she can't, because that's where the money is. But some girls are just chasing paper now. You know what I'm saying? So that may be the case. I don't know how close it is to her home, but that may be the case of why she's doing it. Again, in my retrospect, the way I look at it is, if they do the show and they've already qualified for Olympia, they already know that the whoever second place is, and she's not qualified for Olympia, by default she's going to get that because they need more bodies. That's the way it should work. If you already qualified for Olympia and you know you won, great. If you win the show, great. If you win the show, awesome. But you're not. But again, whoever comes in second and they have not qualified for the Olympia should be the girl that gets that card, because then it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense for a girl who already has it. You know, that's like when I was in North Americans with Bruce and you see people getting 2 pro cards. I'm like, why? You only need 1, because you can switch categories at any point in time in your career and be like, well, Bruce got his, pro card in men's physique, but he likes classic physique better. And like Billy, the head judge, told him, he goes, you're 3 pounds away from being a classic physique guy in the chest. So at some point in time, I'm sure he'll switch over to classic physique, but that's just a matter of when you fill out those pro cards and mark what class you're competing in. That's the class you're competing in at that point in time. Now, if you choose to change, then you just got to, contact Teresa at the IFBB Pro League office and say you're switching categories. But other than that, it doesn't make sense to give 2 pro cards out. So like here, when I was in North America, they say, well, we're giving out 150 pro cards. Well, for one, that's a lot of fucking pro cards. It's like giving out candy to kids. But 2, at the exact same time that you do that, why give a guy who won physique 1 in classic physique? Because a lot of what I seen when I was there was guys and girls crossing over and getting pro cards in 2 categories. And again, that's the conversation that we've had on this podcast over and over again. I was just talking to my buddy who just did the show in St. Pete, was second in 35 and over, second in 40 and over, third in 40 and over, and in open he was 9th. So it's one of those things where we're like, well, again, at the end of the day, that's different because you're a pro, because he's trying to qualify for the Master Olympia. But when you're in a show and you're doing classic physique and then you win classic physique and then you can go to men's physique and do men's physique, it's like, again, where's the line at? And that's like when Tina was competing in women's physique and girls was coming over from figure, and because if they didn't win figure, they were winning in women's physique. So I'm like, again, where's the line? Where's the rules? For I, as an open bodybuilder, cannot go to classic physique. I, as an open bodybuilder, can go to men's physique, but these other categories can, and it doesn't make sense to me. So,
yeah,
that's my 2 cents.
Because I just interviewed the lady that she just got a pro card at the North Americans. Now, she was thinking about doing physique, but she did women's bodybuilding. But now the judges told her, it's maybe switch over to women's bodybuilding for your pro debut. And I got an interview coming up, with the lady who got her pro card in 3 divisions, 2 in physique and 1 in figure. And like I said, it's just they don't sit down and set the guidelines like supposed to.
Well, and the great thing about this, what I can say about bodybuilding and or not bodybuilding in the sport, what I've seen at North Americans, Billy, who's a head judge, who's a great head judge, by the way, this was the first time I've ever seen this, where he actually wasn't at the finals. He was backstage with all the athletes. So usually if you want critiques, like from the judges, you got to email them. So I said, well, what are you doing back here? He's like, I'd rather get this critique stuff done now, because once I leave the show, now he has other shows that he judged. So he's like, if athletes are coming up to me, I said, well, he goes, 90% of the athletes I remember. So when Bruce came up to him, for prime example, and we knew that, and I knew he had won physique, but I want to know what his feedback was in classic physique. He says, back is great, 3D look, need 3 pounds of muscle on the chest. And he was like, and he was awesome. Every athlete that came up to him, he was honest with them. He gave them their opinions. And that, and that probably should have been a question because he was so busy, that I should have asked him, but I just wasn't thinking of it at the time. It's like, how does these people are able to cross over and get multiple pro cards? Because you're taking something away from somebody else. And I understand they're paying for these categories. I forgot how much it was per category. But again, at the end of the day, how many pro cards do you need? You need one. You don't need three. Again, and the rules should be set that if you do win one of the classes, I understand it looks good to have multiple pro cards in front of you, but you can then what? You're gonna pay almost $1,000 for 3 pro cards because it's only just $275 a pro card. So you're taking away. That's what it is, $275. You're taking away other spots from other people. So okay, you're the winner of that class, but the second place person is going to get the pro cards. Kind of like nationals, regular nationals. First and second get pro cards now. Wasn't it when I was competing? It kind of happened after I was the last of that era to get pro card to win a pro card. But at the time, then they changed it to if you're a first or second, then you got a pro card. And then so if that's the case, why aren't they doing it at other shows like the North Americans and things like this where you can enter multiple categories, and if you win and you place in the top 2, or if you win that class and then you decide to jump in another class, because it was a buddy of mine, I met a guy named Chris there, right? So Chris and his wife was competing. He's from Jersey. He didn't think he did well. And he was talking, and he was like, hey, man, he's like, yeah, talk about his kid and not spending time with his kid and all this other stuff. He didn't think he was going to do well in physique. So he's like, I got one more chance to do it in bodybuilding Saturday. Well, he got his pro card in men's physique. So then he was in classic physique. He didn't do well. He did all right. He did men's physique, which backstage he swore that he did horrible. So he's like, I got one more chance to get it in men's bodybuilding, and he got it in men's physique. So I don't even know if he competed in men's bodybuilding because, not unless he just threw the money away that he entered in because you got to pay before you do the show because you got his pro card race. So it's just complicated. It's like the whole rule should be if you win a class and the second place person in line should be able to get that pro card. And that's for the Olympia qualifications as well. You know what I'm saying? I understand these girls are not making much money, so they're chasing the paper. I get that. But if you're chasing the paper and you already got a spot, then the IFBB should look at it and say, all right, you already got a spot. We know you're competing. We know you want the money. Hopefully you win. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But whatever happens, understand that qualification is going to go to the next girl line. And then you keep the numbers up. It only makes sense. Sorry for being so long-winded. I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, that's all right. I know you're passionate about this. I'm passionate too. Where when I posted it, I said, "Why she's doing it? She's already got a qualification. This could be an opportunity for somebody else to get to Olympia. We still have a few more, possible names here. I'll pull it up here. We have one is Ivana Davakova. I interviewed her a while back, a couple of years ago. She's from the Czech Republic. She looked pretty good at the Alina show. This is from pictures from the Alina show. Next up is Martina Lopez, who took second to Nadia at the World Championship, who also made her debut at Triple O Dynasty. She also took third at the Alina Classic. We have here Gemma Lancaster, who lives in the UK. She made her bodybuilding debut. She was physique, but she switched over to bodybuilding last year. Possible is also Kristen Coy, who just did also lead the show. I heard that Irene Anderson is going to do this show also. And I think it's this new lady, Issa Seiler. Issa was supposed to compete at the Masters Championship. She was on the list originally, but then she dropped out. So that's possibly maybe 7 or 8 women for this show. And with the possibility of someone like, I would say, Nadia getting her, to win that show. It's just, to me, it's just not fair. We have some people coming here. This is from a man, Balls D. He says, RP, Rich Homie Quan, Batman Scoop, and James Earl Jones. Yes, we had lost the great late James Earl Jones. This today, just heard that, and Batman Scoop was last week, and Rich Homie Quan was earlier last week also. Next up, we have here from our man Stefan Prey. You have to pay for every category you compete in.
As an amateur, yes. And here's where the frustration lies as a pro now. Because if you're going to, if you're going to, and it's frustrating because in open you don't pay. If you're a master, you pay. So prime example, Legion Fest. I'm doing the open and I'm doing the masters because I'm 51 and it's 40 and over. So I expect to do well in both classes, but one class I had to pay $150 for, which I'm like, whatever. And in open, I didn't. So, so it's like you're, again, it sucks because you're paying to play because it's like, okay, you spent the money to get the pro card at Master Nationals or North Americans or wherever you got your pro card or, wherever these pro qualifiers at. So why don't the same rules apply to the Masters group as the open? And so Master Worlds, it sounds great, but you got to pay. You're paying to play. You're paying. And then what I ended up finding out one year when I did win the Pittsburgh Master Pro show was that all they did was amend the number of guys in our class. They just divided the money up amongst how many guys were in your class. I'm like, well, fuck. I'm like, I made a little money, but not much. So
Well, sometimes little money's better than nothing. Sometimes. Here we got somebody pop in. It's our man Jeremy, aka formerly Art of Female Muscle. Welcome, brother. Thank you for coming by.
Hi guys.
what up, Jeremy?
I'm going all right. I'm surprised you're starting this so late.
Well, I had an
Usually you're doing
interview.
3 o'clock. Okay.
I had an interview this early this afternoon, and I said, you know what, let me push it back, and I should have sent you. I was like focused on my interview. I was trying to get everything, but yeah, I want to still do a Muscle Talk Monday, so I was just let me just push it back to later because I
Okay.
just interviewed Jennifer Rudolph, who just got her pro card at North Americans. That was came be about 2 weeks ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, all right. As you know, you saw that they don't have the list out yet for this show. If it's the last show for Olympic qualification, and I just mentioned some of the ladies who might be competing the show. Nadia Capasoto has confirmed that she's going to compete the show. Martina Lopez. One time I thought somebody was saying that Anastasia Levinova might try to do this show.
well, that's what I was hoping because she won't be able to get to the Olympia because of the whole visa crap. But at least she would be able to get at least a chance at some prize money if she decided to go do the Europa Pro. So I was surprised she didn't. There is one girl in particular that I know is competing, and this will be her pro debut. Let me see if I can pull up her name here.
Issa.
Let's see. I'm not exactly sure as to her first name, but that may be her.
Yeah, because I interviewed.
Yeah.
I missed her. She was supposed to compete at the what's the first show that last week. Oh, the Masters must make a debut at the Masters Championships, but then
World.
the Masters World Championship, but she dropped out, and and she actually she did a show where she won her class, but they didn't give out pro cards, so she had to petition for a pro card. But yeah, that's one of the names. I think I heard Rashada Boswell might try to do this show also because I think she mentioned it when she was in Romania because she's thinking about because this is probably one of the last opportunities for this year's qualification for the Olympia.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Here we got a comment from Stephen Praise says Martina Lopez is dangerous. Well, she's impressive. She's impressive. I think she still needs maybe to fix a few things because I think being that she's a little shorter, I think one thing she needs is the back. She needs to bring in her more tighter glutes. She does have good muscle definition. She has a great physique, but she just needs to become a little bit more tighter and put together.
Yeah, somebody that I saw recently that she wasn't at North Americans. This was at a European show. I'm trying to remember what it is, but her name's Julianne Klotz. Is if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Really, really impressive physique. She's not going to be a. I mean, this was a pro qualifier. She was unfortunately the only one on stage. So hoping and praying that she's hoping and praying that the petition will be accepted. She is, I believe, Italian, and really, really came with an impressive physique. So
Oh yeah,
I'm surprised that if she doesn't get the pro card, I'll be really, really shocked.
yeah,
Because even
because
though she was the only one on stage, boy, did she do a good job.
yeah, that's her
I was
right now.
really
Because
impressed with her.
yeah, because she did an interview for the Female Bodybuilding Channel. That's her at the it's the Pro Muscle. I think it was in Italy, I believe. And this chick, I just saw her do an interview with Female Bodybuilding Channel. She really, this is her back. Her condition is crazy. You know, if she doesn't get a pro card here, I would say do the show in the UK because you know the what's the face show is also a pro. I think it's also a pro qualifier. I think it's that Sunday, I believe. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, you're talking about the Romania now?
No, not Romania. It's the
Okay.
Europa. They have. I think that's supposed to have been a pro qualifier. If LSC, now that the two bros have it, unless there's no longer a pro qualifier, because they're going to have the main show on the 14th. They used to have the pro qualifier the day before the main show, but
Okay.
she, like I said, she looks impressive. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think there is opportunity. This show is opportunity for some people. Like especially for women's physique. I saw there's some names that are confirmed to do this show. Barbara Marjan is confirmed. A fellow countrywoman, Sophie Leo, another French woman. Her name is Lucy. I forget how to pronounce her name. Also, the debut of Nadia Phoenix. No, it's Nadine Phoenix. That's her name, Nadine Phoenix, and a couple others that I actually, like I said, they had made it. They had are confirmed to compete for the show, and it's posted here on the Hardcore Female Bodybuilding YouTube channel. The list is for, and also one name that's also jumping in this show is going to make her debut is Manon Danuti. As you know, Manon, she just did the Florida show, and she's going to make her physique debut in the show in the UK.
Oh, she changed it then. I thought that she was gonna. She originally, if this is the one that I'm thinking of, she's French, right?
No, she's French Canadian.
Okay. Um, but yeah, she had posted earlier that she was going to try to do the pro debut in the Florida show. I guess she decided to move that up.
Daytona.
So,
She decided she was
yeah.
going to do Daytona. She just did a show in Florida. That was just interviewed the lady who did the work behind the scenes of that show, Jennifer Rudolph. It was the Florida Pro. A couple ladies I know competed that show. Also know a gentleman who I know competed that show, and she decided to make her debut at the UK show.
Okay.
It's on. Yeah, she's confirmed it, and she's still going to compete as a figure competitor at the Olympia. The question is, if she wins in physique, what she's going to do? Because will she compete? Is there? I don't know, Keith. Is there a rule that if you win another division, another show, you can compete in two divisions? I mean,
You can't in Olympia. You got to pick one or the other. So she would have to pick a division. That's like saying a 212 guy who qualifies in open division that he can do 212 in open. You can't do that in men's bodybuilding. You can't do that in any class. You pick one or the other. So it's up to her and her coach to decide, looking at who's qualified. What's the best fit for her, and then next year probably do something different.
because I thought she might do the Daytona show because that'd be qualification for next year instead of this year. We
Yeah.
have right here my man KL the Wonder, Kel Musa. He's called himself.
How y'all doing?
Hey, how you
How you
doing,
guys
brother?
doing, man?
How you doing? He
Right.
just did an interview, a couple interviews last week. Shout out to my brother. We hope he do
Yeah,
some
you didn't
more.
wear your robe, did you, bro?
He did wear his robe one
Nah,
Come
time.
on, man.
come on now. That's one time event, man. Come on now.
I watched that. You were talking about he was critiquing one of my I think he was critiquing one of my interviews, and he had the
Yeah.
audacity to wear a robe. I understand. You're like,
Well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Come
hey,
on,
hey,
like,
hey,
come
hey,
on, bro.
hey, hey,
Like,
hey, hey, hey. 2 o'clock in
it's
the
two
morning,
o'clock in the morning.
but no one
It's
wants
two
to see you.
o'clock in the morning. Are you kidding me?
It doesn't
You
matter. 2
can't
o'clock
see
in the
nothing. What
morning.
you want to see? You
No
can't
one wants
see
to see you.
nothing.
No
You
one
ain't
wants to see you.
seeing nothing. You
It
can't
doesn't
see
matter.
nothing. You can't see
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I don't want to see. I just don't want to see you in no
But you
robe.
can't see nothing.
It doesn't matter.
What is
You in
about
a
the road? You
Professionalism,
freaking
bro.
out. You can't see nothing.
It's
Huh?
professionalism, man. Gotta be professional.
Professionalism.
Professional.
Well, when I take it professionalism, they got to give me some money. Then that's when I take
It
it
doesn't matter
professional.
about money. It doesn't matter. What is your name?
I mean,
It
it's two
doesn't
o'clock
matter
in the
what your
morning.
name is.
Want me to wear a t-shirt or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Be professional, brother. That's what it is.
I just was walking around with no shirt on. I put a t-shirt on for this shit, you know?
This is
Again,
Ivy
Yeah,
Post.
but you got
again,
muscles. It ain't like nobody's gonna really say much, but you have muscles and stuff. So
Yeah, but
again,
I still wear a t-shirt.
again, I said it before. Hey, if you're going to decide to go a rogue, that's not a bad thing. You just have to go all out. You got to turn the lights down. You got to light those candles up. You got to put those. You got to do it on a bed with rose
like,
petals on it. You got to
You
have
know,
a
got a
wine
cigar,
bottle. You got to have
champagne,
Barry White going in the background. You have to
you
do
know?
all that shit if you're going to do it
Tell
in
him,
a
Mark.
row.
Tell him, Mark.
That's
Tell
what you
him,
have to
Mark.
do.
I don't know about the very
Now that
white, but
I would
I
call
love it
that
when they call me
professional.
Big Papa.
I'd call that professional. If you did all of that, if you set all that up just for the interview, I'd call it professional. You would probably never get the interview ever again, but you would still, but you would still get it.
Like, what the hell we about to do?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We about to do something Spanish for some change. Make them holler a dollar
Mm.
and make a
the
fucking
road section
donation.
for KLA, huh?
Let me see your hands,
Yeah.
bro. Let me see your hands.
Anyway, we get it back. We have fun with that. But as I say that, there's one person I think she should do this show, and probably this will get a little qualification if she comes in good condition, if she is, and that is Hunter Henderson. This is a picture of her. She posted this on her social media. Anybody follows Hunter. She's like 185, and this is a picture from uh, April 24th, which was early this year, to September the 8th, which was yesterday. I think she should. I don't know why. I don't see. I understand that you want to do the Titan show because it's closer, but if you want to get that Olympic qualification, I think it would make more sense to do that show in the UK. She probably could win that show.
Yeah, but we
Well,
don't
here's
we don't we don't know what her situation is right now. I mean, we don't know what it is. It could be financial. I mean, maybe she's waiting to see whether or not she's going to be able to do it. It'd be cheaper to do it here in the States than to go overseas. So there may be a number of reasons as to why. But I mean, even if she doesn't get it this year, I mean, as long as she gets it, I mean, then that she'd have to wait another year. But still, if you lock it in, hey, why not? So
and here's the thing. You understand with these international shows, my rookie season when I did it, it's some people like, especially her because she hasn't been in the sport long. Not unless your coach is with you, because the travel is different, the time change is different. It's a whole bunch of variables to go when you're going overseas to compete. So there's a lot of things that have to go into it. Like, I remember Dexter used some water load when he got on the plane going to Australia doing the Arnold Pro and the Arnold Classic in Australia. There's just a lot of variables when we travel international, water retention, how long the flight is, et cetera, food. So there's a lot of things when you get there, time change and all this other stuff. And she's young, she's very young. I mean, she's just her second year competing, and I think she's only done two or three shows. So, Boswell is a little bit more seasoned, at something like this than she is. So that can be, well, I think, because I remember at last I heard that Matt Jensen was her coach. So it all depends. Those are variables that, sometimes you think about, like, if I go over there, is my coach going to be with me? And like Art said, it's not cheap. It's not cheap to take an international flight, because then you got hotel, food, your coach, all kinds of shit. So, it gets nuts. Like when I was at the North Americans with Bruce, as his coach, he pays my clients. If I travel with them, they pay for everything. And it's one of those things where just to get tickets from me backstage and for the show was $300. $300.
Yep.
And that's not including the food, the travel, and everything else, that goes in there. And I get it, because I travel with my coach, and the shit gets expensive. The show I'm about to get ready to done, I've already dropped $3,000 in hotels and travel for my kids and my family and stuff like that. So it's not cheap.
Right.
So,
and then it's just that flight. I mean, I've made that flight from LaGuardia to London. It's like 6 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a long flight. So you show up really discombobulated there, as well as coming back. So I mean, and all those things, I mean, being jet lagged also, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's like, when I got there, I was like, I got really sick really quickly, because apparently the level of E. coli that is over there is a whole lot higher than it is here. So it's like, there are a lot of things you have to take into consideration when going to a foreign show, and all of which can have an effect in your body. So if you've never done that before, and I don't know if she's traveled overseas or not, but you're saying, Keith, you were saying that she's so young, she's never done that. I mean, if she went over and did that, I mean, that can throw her off to the point where she wouldn't win. So
I think she's only done the Tampa. She was second at the Tampa when she competed last, and I don't know, she was second at this last show that she competed at.
She was second Chicago.
Chicago. She was second at Chicago. Her debut, because I know Tina was fifth at Tampa. She was second. Mona won that show, and she was second. So this will be her third show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it makes way more sense for her to be here.
Yeah, because it makes more sense for her to be here, and again, she's young, so not knowing her financial situation, who her financial backing is, and all that other stuff, all that plays a central role on, where she's probably, her camp, I imagine, it's like, hey, we do the Titan, hopefully we qualification there, and then we start regrouping for next year, so.
Yeah, because it does truthfully make a lot more sense, because you know what, give you time to sit and chill, get your qualification for next year. Give you time to sit and chill.
What sucks, because unfortunately, I mean, in my opinion, that Titan show should have been an Olympia qualifier this year, just because of the number of shows that were limited to women. So, and seeing that this is mostly an all-women show, I mean, it should have been Olympia qualifier, probably the last one. I mean, because again, what the IFBB, needs to take into consideration is simply, they're not making the money that we do, and, I can speak, as open and a master's pro. They're not making the money that we do. So again, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, not unless it's the Worlds or the Olympia, there's not very much money in women's bodybuilding. So what are these women supposed to do with the hair, the makeup, the suits, the travel, the hotel, and all this other stuff? You're losing money. And like Art said, it makes sense to just stay in the States. Says, well, if I qualify, then next year I get ready and don't have to worry about it. But if I go over there, and again, as young as she is, and I don't know her financial situation, and she doesn't win because she's not ill prepared as far as the travel, as far as the international travel is concerned, you just wasted a lot of money for nothing, where you could just be here and just get a qualification. So, because I know that Titan show is going to be it's going to be a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, if it's going to be stacked, because you can see a lot of competitors, some ladies who usually qualify for the Olympia, like I think we're still missing Mela Ash, because she dropped out of the Rising Phoenix. Sheena Oleg, I think Sheena's going to probably sit and maybe just do a show next year. Rashana probably
I
might
know
jump on this show.
LaShonda Lede is doing that Titan show.
Yeah. I heard a couple other names. I don't want to give them out, but yeah, because I want to keep the confidence. They tell me stuff because I'm a good dude. I want to keep the confidence. And here we got here. This is from a man, Stefan Prey. Shout out to Stefan. He says Hunter Henson did a podcast this morning that explains what she is doing. Well, you should get
Which one?
Yeah. Yeah, she let us know which one it was. It might have been any. I don't think. Let me see if she posted on her IG. She might have not. I don't know, but let me check. See, but if she has said what show she's doing, you know, that gives a reason why she wouldn't want to do a show like the UK show. Like I said, it's out of her way, and also the cost and the
Well,
travel.
did he say? I mean, clearly he must have watched the interview. Did he say what her reasoning?
Right, because he should know what the podcast is, what the episode is.
Yeah.
What is it? Okay.
Could be any podcast. I'm
Right.
surprised not Female Bobbin channel because they were probably already posted. If knowing AJ and JB, they're put it out there in the world like, hey, we got Hunter Henderson. It might be one of these other guys or one of these other people that does podcasts in the bodybuilding. Could be anybody. But like I said, she's a contender of maybe placing at this show that's coming up in a couple weeks of Titan, or could be anybody else. This is a show I think I wanted to promote a little more because instead again, it's not enough show for women's bodybuilding. Physique still have more shows. After this, they have at least, I would say, 4 qualifiers, counting Daytona, the Atlanta Coach Show, also the Marine Muscle Fest, and also I saw that the Brazil's bringing back Physique to the show they dropped it the last time. They're bringing it back. So that's maybe 2-3 more qualifications for that division compared to women's bodybuilding. But then, think about it. You have someone like Zambenta, who did both the Tampa show and she did Texas. Then you had Anna Harris, who did both Chicago and Atlanta. So that cuts down the numbers a bit. You don't have you're missing Natalia. I think Natalia is thinking about focusing on this show. Here, Stefan said this. He said, it's on YouTube. All right. I say, what show she doing? He says she's doing the Titan, but she says it's a qualifier for this year.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. Shut the official cutoff set up by the IFBB is September 14th. Like Janine was saying at the last time. So it's like after that, if the show is after that, it does not qualify. It's for next year, not this year.
Yeah, because I remember
I know she trains out of Dragon's Lair, and you think that Christina Mendoza, because I know Christina Mendoza and Joey Belt, the couple of theirs, their posing coach, and she's out of Dragon's Lair, and there's a lot of bodybuilders that train out there in Vegas. They would have the right information. So that's just that info and that intel.
Because I found that in an interview, Sherry Pierre did an interview with my man Glenn of his Amazon Fitness podcast. She mentioned that it was the cutoff. I think she said September 15th, but I think you said 14th. And that show in the UK, that's right at the cutoff, meaning that's why
that's it.
Yeah, that's why
the last one.
Yeah, that's why they're not having it on the 15th because usually that show, when you do the Europa show, they have the amateurs first and then the pros. And this time around, they're doing the pros first, then the amateurs, because the amateur part is pro qualification. It's supposed to be because it was when it was in Spain. That's how it worked. So somebody, if you know Hunter, tell her that you're going to be going to 2025 Olympic if you win the show.
Right. I found the episode. I found the interview. It looks like it was a podcast called Talk and Mess podcast, because it was at 11 hours ago, and that was with Hunter. I have not seen that, but yeah, she says that it's for this year. That's incorrect.
That's
So
very incorrect.
I hope she knows that. Hope somebody tells her that, because if not, I mean, she's gonna show up at the Olympia saying, "Okay, where do I go? Where's my number? Where do I sign in?" It's like, no,
Well, she's just not going to get a
you're
contract. That's
not.
all. Yeah, she's just
Well,
not going to get a contract.
you know what? Jake could do this. Jake does this. You could probably give him a special invite. I mean, it'd be unfair that you already get your qualification, but you can take that and say, you know what? I get a special invite. I can set my qualification for next year. Shout out to Jake Wood. I got to do it. I say his name. Yo, Jake. I want that money. You can keep the gun. Just give me your money.
So basically, what you're saying is, whoever wins that show, he can give a special. Because let's just say that whoever wins that show, because there's going to be some heavy hitters in that show. Let's just say that they should get a special invite. How many do we actually even know? How many girls are in the Olympia right now?
14. I could pull you up.
14.
Possibly because I'm pull you up the list qualifier. Let me give you a second, and I'll pull it up because it should be 15, but a particular person does not have a visa. Yeah, that's why I hope she's not doing the show in UK. There's no point for you doing the show in UK if you can't even compete in this year's Olympia. I mean, if come on. That means you're just taking a spot for somebody who deserves it. So I'm gonna pull up the list.
14. That's what we got.
Yeah, 14.
So
wait a minute. We have here for Miss Olympia. We have here my girl Andrea Shaw, Angela Yo, Arsenio Barrito, Lavinia Barros, Teresa Vasic, Judy Wetzel, Ashley Jones, Ava Manillo, Nadia Capasoto, Hella Trevino, Michaela Aycott, Sherry Priami, Christina Mendoza, and Adanya Opla. And like I said, I don't count Anastasia because if she can't get a visa to compete in the show, there's no point even mentioning her. Like I said,
so that list, so it's 13, not 14, or is it 14?
It's 14.
Should be 14. Yeah,
14.
15 altogether. No.
Without Anastasia. Okay.
Sorry, it is 14 without her.
14 without her.
Altogether, it's 15.
It's 15, but without Anastasia, it's 14. Okay. And if someone actually wins the show, it'll go up to 15. But then if Nadia wins or if Anastasia does show she wins, it will be still 14. Because like I said, Anastasia already got her qualification, Nadia got a qualification. That means that the women, you got the 4 who are already qualified because they competed at the Olympia, made top, 3. Like, you have Andrea, who's the champion, Angela, who took second, Alcione, who took third, and Hella, because she's been a 2-time Rising Phoenix champion, and, she gets a special invite. Here we get here. This is from our man, Warrior 2000s. Martina or Hunter could win that show. I don't care. Either one is fine with me. Okay, but Hunter's not, doing that show. Also, so far, where do you place the Miss Olympia qualified women? What's your prediction? Well, no predictions. Well, it's coming up here. So, who's the top 6 for 2024 Miss Olympia in your opinion? Well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start out with my man, Jeremy. I know you don't like to do predictions, but give me your top 6.
Well, that's the point. I don't do predictions, and the main reason why I do is Rising Phoenix. I know, but it just echoes what I said. You can make predictions all you want, but it matters what happens on show day. I think Andrea is clearly there. I mean, because even though she may have screwed up at the Rising Phoenix, like we said there, she's got plenty of time to straighten that out. I mean, she's got plenty of time to fix what happened. So she's easily a contender. Angela, proven herself beyond any reasonable doubt, is a top 6 contender. Having knocked off Andrea at the Rising Phoenix. Let's see. Ashley Jones, wowing everybody at the New York Pro, so she would be there. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Michaela, I think she's got to be put in the mix because she comes in so unbelievably good conditioning. Same with Sherry Priami. And then, let's see. That number 6 slot, that would be up for grabs. I mean, just from what I'm seeing here. So, I would say, let's see. I don't know if Hella is going to be able to do it. So, because she's qualified. I mean, she is a top competitor, but she's getting old. So, I don't know how much longer she's going to be able to do this. So, I think that's number 6 spot. I honestly don't know. Just looking at what I see here. I mean, Christina Mendoza comes in with a killer look, as does Ava Malio. So, in both of them did an excellent job. So it just depends from there. But yeah, if I had to make a prediction, those would be my top 6. Not as to what order they would be in, no idea. For the reason I stated earlier,
Yeah.
comes down to show day.
Here,
Whoever,
Seven Prey says, won't sleep on Christina Mendoza. All right. And also, Seven Prey, no, we can't sleep on Christina Mendoza. She's definitely a possibility. So, Big Bro, you being a judge and you know some of these ladies, personally, who's your top 6 if you had to pick?
That's pretty easy. Obviously Angela Yo, Ashley Jones, Micaiah. I would put Christina in. I would put Christina in there, but again, what people have to understand is I'm a person of consistency, you know, and seeing that she dropped out of 2 worlds, and I think one Olympia, that kind of, you kind of hesitate on that, even though I mean, like she has all the tools, every tool in her bag, you know, to be in that top 4 or 5 spot. So I would say Angela Yo, Michaela for sure, Sherry, Ashley Jones, Hella. I mean, I think Hella taking off some time and she know what she's doing as a vet could, slide into that, top 6. But again, then everything's up in the air, like Art says. I'm actually looking forward to what Andrea is bringing into the Olympia, because I think she understands as well that she got caught slipping, and that she understands what Angela brought. And it's not like, if everybody looks at this situation, that's a lot of time. I'll take my client Bruce, for example. He was at 3rd at the Team U. He got feedback. We had 6 weeks to fix what we need to fix, and he got his pro card. So it's a matter of going back to your coach and saying, okay, this is where we've messed up. This is what we have to fix. These are the things we have to change. And like I said, with Andrea, the one thing I can say with her is she changes so fast, and I think, maybe she took the worlds for granted, because, when you're the 4-time champion, when you just get comfortable. And then like somebody, like Linda said in her interview, and I think that's why they did, and I figured out that's why they did the interview with her first. It's simply this. Linda said, what? My seconds I remember more than anything, because I didn't like the way that felt. So she went back to the lab and said, okay, we got to fix this shit in order for me to get back on top of the mountain. And I think between Alina and Linda telling her that, she understood the significance that what she has to do. And like she said, I got to go back to my team. I go back to my camp, get back to work to figure out what happened and what did wrong. And at the end of the day, she wasn't as conditioned because she has the size. She has the muscle bellies. Angela's never going to beat her on size whatsoever. Her conditioning was this off. So she can bring her, like, and what did she say in her interview? I never used the word shredded, but I am coming into the Olympia shredded. Well, that's a fucking scary thought all in itself. For her to sit there and say, I don't use this word. I know what I need to do, because Angela clearly gave her the blueprint of what she's bringing to the stage, because Angela said, when I'm in the gym and I'm training, the picture that I see in Olympia is me that she's painting. So she's already saying, this is what I see the next Miss Olympia looking at. So, at the end of the day, I had a person on my board who I thought was going to be competing at the Legions, seen him at North Americans, and now he's not competing. So I got to take my focal point someplace else. So you don't think that every day she gets on that spin bike or every day she walks in the gym and every day she understands that she lost that world title, that she is going to do everything that she can to win that Olympia title, keep her Olympia title. I'm very interested and excited to see what she brings to the whole stage. So that's my 6. Hello?
Your turn, George.
Sorry for just step away for a minute for hear something. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go. KL. I would say KL, but he doesn't follow the women's much. I would ask him, but I'm going to throw mine, and maybe he'll throw his. I'm going to say, like I said again, Andrea, with no doubt about it. Also, I would say Angela, Ashley, most definitely. Then 4th and 5th is going to be between Sherry and Michaela. I think Michaela probably take 4th. Sherry might take 5th, or Sherry might take 4th again, and Michaela get 5th. And 6, I might be looking at Nadia. If she comes in good condition, I don't know if the show would be a good idea for her to do the show. She's already be qualified, but it could be either Ava or Christina might get 6.
So is that the girl that's doing the show in the UK?
Yeah, Nadia Capasoto.
So here's the problem with that. When you do something like that, it's hard. What people don't understand as a competitor, it's hard to peak and come back. Like if she had more time, it would be a smart decision. So I don't understand why she would do that so close to the Olympia. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to do something, I am putting all. I don't think. When I looked at the Worlds, I don't think we've seen the best package of Ashley like she was in New York. So I'm sure they'll go back to the drawing board because basically what everybody's looking at and the way I looked at it was that conditioning won the show, and Angela, and she put on some more size. I know her coach, because her coach and my coach are really good friends. And Brandon Ray knows what the fuck he's doing, and so I understand John knows what he's doing because his client is the 4-time Miss Olympia, 4-time world champion. So I think them looking over saying, we got caught slipping and this is what we got to do. And listen, heeding the words that Andrea says, I will come into this show shredded. That is because she don't have to get bigger. Sherry had to get bigger. Andrea, I mean, even when you looked at them when they were doing that video in the gym, she was clearly bigger than Ashley and Angela. But she understands now she's chasing conditioning. She ain't chasing no more size. She don't need to put any more muscle on. She's chasing conditioning now. I posted on my IG. I am 265 pounds right now. I am not chasing size anymore. I am chasing conditioning. Conditioning wins shows now. And shapes. And she got shapes. So as what people don't understand is conditioning is the key. And Angela whipped her ass in every aspect at the World Championships on conditioning and just poses because she was, the conditioning was just hands down superior. Was Andrea bigger? Yes. But if your conditioning doesn't match, it does not matter. And so I think, Andrea for the first time is going to pull all stops out and says, okay, me and my camp understands. And again, the word that keeps resonating with me is I will come into the Olympia shredded. Mm-hmm. And that means peeled. I get it because that's what I'm chasing after every day I get on my spin bike. Every day I do cardio. Every day I'm at the gym. And it ain't about my size no more. It's about, people look at my IG. They're like, what the fuck you look? I met Jim Mannion at North Americans. He said, you look crazy. I said, I'm chasing after conditioning right now. I don't need to be any bigger. I just need to be shredded when I step on stage and then everything else will, work itself out. And I think that's what Andrea needs to do. She just needs to come in peeled. And if she come in peeled, you're not going to beat her because she's just way bigger than the other two girls, Ashley and Angela. So she don't need to put on more muscle on. Angela had to put muscle on, and she put muscle on last year, and she put more muscle on this year. So she's getting the gap closed, but she understood one thing: her conditioning was her focal point of what she was doing in that little bit of size, and she beat pretty much Andrea on every single pose based off of that.
Yeah, placed second at the Olympia. If I'm not mistaken, placed second at the Olympia with that conditioning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
twice.
Only reason Andrea beat her was she came in with the right level of mass and with the right level of conditioning. That's the only
Yep.
reason why she did, and that's why I say so. If Andrea comes in with the conditioning of like Michaela, if she comes in looking like that, unstoppable,
Yeah.
absolutely unstoppable. There's no way she could be beat unless and but if they did, if there is something like a competition, it would be against Angela, and it would be right down to the wire.
Yeah, and I
If
think
And
Angela
again,
comes in the same way,
we have to understand the judge at the Olympia is Sandy, and Sandy loves Andrea. But I'm sure when Andrea went back to the drawing boards, because that judge who was at the Worlds is not going to be at the Olympia, and she went back and asked Sandy, and Sandy was, we sent pictures of Tina to Sandy, and she's brutally honest, and she's like, you need this, you need that, fuller, this, that, and other. Condition is great, but you need to be fuller but bigger because of your height. And I think that Andrea understood that she got caught sleeping
yep,
and she got punched in the
she did.
chin. And again, if we all listen to that interview, they went to her right away for a reason, because when you lose that title and you got another title to defend, it's one thing when you're if it wasn't a world championship title, if it was just a world championship title, that's one thing. But now there's a bigger title on hand. Like it's like when the Chiefs win the AFC championship. They don't give a shit about that. They won 6 of them. They want to win the Super Bowl. So winning the Super Bowl is the biggest title. And Andrea understands that I had to go back to camp with John and whoever else is in their corner and sit there and says, we understand what we didn't bring and how she beat us. Now we got to be better for the Olympia. And I think that's what they're going to do. I mean, I'm speaking out loud, but that's what I would do in my camp. That's what me and my coach is thinking when I get ready for this show is come in peeled and dry and shred it and, let the cards fall where they may.
we have a comment here. This is from my man Stephen Prey. He says, Andrea is still the best in the world in what she does. I agree with that. Also, we
Absolutely.
had, yeah. Also, why guys, while I was out for a minute, I had a little, as you know, one of my identities is I call myself Jon Snow. I am the bastard of Winterfell, the commander of the wall. And every so often I have my little ravens bring me little messages. And while I was out for a minute, one of my little ravens sent me a little message. And this is just to show that officially I don't know if it's official, but it's the list is already posted, and we have here the list. And it looks like we have maybe a couple more names. We have here Irene Anderson. We have is Christina Coy, Rashada Boswell, Nadia Capasotto, Ivana Danakova, Martina Lopez, Joanne Romero, Issa Sila, and Jenny Welker.
Oh,
And that,
Jeannie's going to be in it. Okay.
yeah, I'm surprised. Dr. Welker. She lives in California. I thought she might try to do the Titan show, but she might try to double dip. She might do the show and see if she can try to get opportunity qualification for her, or just like I said, just go back and because the Titan show is not for another couple of weeks.
Right.
So
She's got her conditioning down pat. I mean, she really does. The one and only thing that I see with Jeannie is mass, and
mhm.
that's what I've seen in the past. But she can get her conditioning down very, very well.
Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see what she does here.
yeah. Because last time she competed was the New York Pro, and that's been almost 3 months ago, 3 4 months ago. God, time flies. We have here a comment. This is from my man Warrior 2000. He says this. He actually asks. He says, switching division topic. Here, who's winning the women's physique Olympia? Is it going to be Sarah, Natalia, or Zama? Like I said, depending how what to come. Zama, she looks really impressive. I mean, what she did, I watched both the Texas Pro and the Tampa Bay Pro. This chick is just crazy. Her body's just built. It's crazy how well developed she is and how she come a long way because it wasn't that long ago She made a debut in 2021 at the Puerto Rico Pro. Then she took a step back and she did women's bodybuilding for me. I remember even watching a thing with it was I believe it was who was it? It was Alina and Linda Murray talking about her and saying that she could possibly, you know, do women's bodybuilding. She did it and she took third at the remaining Muscle Fest. Yeah. Also, we have your comment from Warrior says Zala Binta is the new big threat to Sarah Vilgas. I believe so. She's possibly. Also, that is politics doesn't interfere with the outcome of the finals at the Women's Physique Olympia show. You know, and here we have a comment. This is from Vinny. He says, sadly, Europa won't get a live stream. The promoter don't usually live streams for their shows. Well, that's too bad. Because the thing is, it don't, like I said, no one, I mean, it's a new promoter. It's not no longer the guy who was running it in Spain. It's the two bros. That's another bad example of someone not knowing that, hey, even though we probably missed the prejudging because they're going to be in the UK, it's going to be like 5-6 hours ahead of our time. We can still try to see the finals. So we have to wait till all said and done to see what the results is. So but but he says this video says it's a great lineup. So what y'all think about the women's physique division at the Olympia? You think Sarah's going to lose her title, or it's about time? It's somebody's going to take another shot at it.
It depends. I mean, if who's ever sleeping, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
It's that simple. We've seen it here, especially when Sarah and Natalia, both of them have got an Olympia win under their belts. So it's like you have to put them in the top 6 for that reason, because they know what they're doing, obviously. So it's like, let's see. I would say I'm looking at the list right now. Let's see. I'm going to put Marika Jones and Sharonica Hinton, both of them, because I mean, especially Sharonica, because this is like what, number 5 for her that she's shown up at the Olympia. So she definitely knows how to go about doing that. Let's see. Looking at the others here. I know this is an unpopular thing. I know that even other IFBB pros have disagreed with me on this, but I think Natalie Ray Wolf is going to surprise people at this show. I really do. Because, I mean, I followed, and part of it is just the fact that I have met her personally, and I've also followed her for the last 14 years that she's been competing. And she's made just unbelievable advances since when she started. I mean, truly. So I think she's going to surprise people.
Yeah.
So,
because I interviewed Natalie a while back, and she looks pretty good for from what I'm seeing of her. Then like I said, Barbara Majan is going to be doing the UK show. So if Barbara can get qualification, I can see her cracking the top 5 because she's been fourth place 3 years in a row. She skipped last year. She didn't do no shows last year. I'm also, like I said, I got a pleasure to interview Marika Jones. She looks pretty good. One lady who, I don't know if she's gonna make it because I think she also issued a visa is Carol Alvarez. She's been qualified at least twice in her career, but has not ever done an Olympia. And she beat Barbara Majan for the title. She has a great look, very feminine look, great muscle. If she can, with someone like, Ivy Rain's not competing this year because she retired. Anne Lorraine Moon's out because she has a knee injury. And Jenny Feldman hasn't done any shows. I think Jenny might be trying to do the Atlanta Coast show for next year Olympic qualification because she didn't jump onto Texas or any of the other shows that was left. So
because there's a show this weekend, San Antonio.
They don't have physique. I think they have figure, bikini, and men's classic. So that's for that division. The Legion and Daytona and Atlanta Coast for next year. For women's physique, just like men's bodybuilding, the UK show is the last show for qualification. And that's
Here's the thing when it comes to Sarah and it's these people understand this shit's a science, and these girls are rested, and they understand what's in front of them. It's kind of like Andrea now knows what's in front of her. She's not going to get hit with the buzzsaw because she got hit with the buzzsaws at Worlds, and understand what Angela brought to the show, and she understands she has to be in better condition. I think these two girls are going to be in those two spots, and they're going to battle it out again, just because they're rested. And these girls, everybody's chasing after these qualifications, where they're just like, that's why Derek doesn't do shows. That's why Hade doesn't do shows. These top three guys, who don't really need to qualify, don't do shows because they understand when it comes to defending the biggest title in the world, they got to be well rested and well prepared for this one show. And I think Sarah and Nadia, is that her name? Nadia?
Yeah.
Is the two girls that understand the dynamic of this. They understand that, if they're battling each other. I don't think they're worried about anybody else. And that's not being arrogant. That's just, she had the title, then she had the title. She won the title back. So that's the battle right now between those two. Whoever else falls in and can slide in those top 3, 4, 5, 6 spots, that's great. But I understand. But at the end of the day, when you got a girl who's coming into a show fresh, and understand, and I've said this on several of your podcasts, George, is looking at what's in front of you, looking at the competition. Like, you don't think that when that Texas show that Sarah, who put all that money out for those girls, is like, this is what some of my competition looks like. Nadia the same way. This is what some of my competition look like. And understanding, if they have a good coach, what the blueprints has to be about and what they got to bring to keep that title. It's the same thing as Andrea. She understands now that with Angela taking her world championship title, and this one on the cusp as well, that she's going to have to come in at her all-time best. And that's what these girls in women's physique, these top two girls, Sarah and Nadia, is going to be Italian going to do. Is we're not worried about anybody else. They ain't doing any other shows, and so they're coming in fresh legs. We call them fresh legs, coming in and and everybody else is just chasing them at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I know was last year Natalia did 3 shows. She did. I know she did New York. She did Pittsburgh. That's why for Pittsburgh wasn't so many people competing that show because they feel like Natalia was going to be at that show. And then after that, because she lost the title because her ego was wounded, she did the show, that coach show, and that got rid of a person for this year's Olympia.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's not a true. To me, that's not a true barometer for her. I mean, to go into shows and beat up on people. It's like when I remember Dexter coming into Tampa Pro one year, my last year I competed, and I'm like, "Why are you stealing checks from us, dog?" He comes at the last minute. I'm like, "Why are you stealing checks?" Did shit at the New York Pro too. I'm like, "Why are you stealing checks? We know you're gonna fucking win, but you don't need to be here. Let us little people eat too. You know what I'm saying? Throw us some crumbs."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no. We had a comment from this is my man Warrior 2000. It says, "Why the heck is Nadia Caposoto doing the Europa Pro when she's already qualified?" This is exactly what Michaela did at Tampa. Yeah, I understand, but sometimes what little money they can get off these shows, it's not much money. Maybe $2,000 or $3,000. They already established qualified women doing other shows. Seems like a trend that I see oftentimes this whole year. Yeah, because we all know Anna Harris did it twice, and then she did Texas, and then she took 8. I saw that she was dealing with something. She had an issue with a sty, and somebody who knows me told me because I thought it was something like pink eye or something. She got eye injury, but she has a sty, so she's getting medication for that. Hope she'll be ready for the Olympia by that time. Also, a man Warrior says Lavia Bardos won a show and it's already qualified and did the New York Pros, etc. Yeah, and then what happened to her? She took second to Ashley. And then also he says this, Natalie Wolf. Well, Art, you got your bias favorite, but she's not going to beat Zama, Natalia, nor Sarah for the title. That's damn sure. No, maybe she's not beat, but if she can place in the top
I don't think that's what
5,
Art said though.
No,
yeah,
I
Art said,
didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't
no,
say she was going to win. I said
yeah,
she's going to. I think she's going to surprise
right.
people.
Some people.
I'm
yeah,
not. I'm not going to. I'm not saying that she's going to win. I
yeah.
And
mean, would I like? Would I
listen,
like her to
whoever that
win?
was,
Sure.
and listen to what Art doesn't even like making predictions, let alone saying somebody's going to win the damn show.
Right.
So
Well, it's not like I don't. It's not like I
Linda,
don't
listen,
like.
open up your ears.
Right. It's not like I don't want to make a prediction. It's just I know the reality. Having followed this for so long, you can make predictions. Like I said before, you can make predictions all the live long day. Comes down what's presented on show day, on contest day, because your body can rebel against you at the very last minute,
Mm-hmm.
and that's happened time and time again.
Mhm.
Tell me
Well,
So
about it.
so you can make predictions. That all it does a lot of assuming though that everything is going to be clicking and everybody's going to come absolutely ready in their top game. And as we saw with the Rising Phoenix, that doesn't always happen.
yeah.
So
So I look at the list for women's physique, and it is stacked right now. I mean, we have at least over 20 women to show by the looks of it. We have one person I see that I thought
What
she was
is
going to.
crazy?
One person I thought was going to do women's bodybuilding. And that is Gemma Lancaster. Maybe they put her in the wrong place because I know last year she competed at the Maine Muscle Fest in women's bodybuilding. I don't think that'd be a good move for her. I think she should really either they did this wrong. Like I said, I don't know. Sometimes they'll put the one person in the wrong place, but I think she should go up to women's bodybuilding because some of these ladies I look again like Sophie Leo, Barbara Majan. Um, is also Manone's going to do this show as I mentioned earlier. Um, you know, I would say, truthfully, it's going to be probably between Sophie and Barbara for that top spot. I don't see anybody. Maybe Nadine Phoenix might place well. Couple of ladies. I'm surprised one person didn't do his show is Elaine Alvarez, who did, she only did Tampa, and I think she did another show. And, she looked pretty good at Tampa. She got fourth in Tampa, but, I'm surprised she didn't jump on this show because I said it's the last qualification for the Olympia outside of the country and for overall.
Again, at the end of the day, what it boils down to is, guys, it's like we have to understand that we don't know these people's financial situations, and you're rolling the dice like going to fucking Vegas and rolling the dice. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to show up. Like Art said, it's one of those things, and you're taking a gamble. You're taking a risk, and that's a big ass investment to make. Going all the way across the waters to hopefully, I mean, I would say when I did Finland, I was over there. I got there a week early just so my body can adjust. So you got to be there for a week. The body can adjust, get your workouts in, flush the water, and get your body back on track and things like that. So, here's the biggest thing that I take away from women's bodybuilding. I understand the dynamics of why these women do it. If they were like the men, and they like prime example, like the Open men, New York Pro, 20 grand. Legions, 20 grand. Chicago, 20 grand. The prize money is going up for the men. It's not going up for the women. So if these women were making like 10 grand, or I think the biggest check I've seen so far this year was like 2,500, 3,000. And they were making enough money, then they were like, well, I already qualified. I can sit here with this 10 grand, 15 grand, 20, whatever the case may be, and just chill out to the Olympia. But, they can't. They gotta, they gotta chase the paper, and I get it. Michaela was chasing the paper. I'm sure that's, you're in great shape. You really want to make money, and what I think she won 2,500 at the last show she did. So I get it to a certain degree for those women, but the problem is, it's just hard to do show after show after show and get your body to peak and peak and then reset, peak again and reset, peak again and reset. It's very hard to do, and it's very methodical and scientific when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I looked at a little quick at the list for Wellness. And I want to give a shout out to a lady who's been on here, who's been a guest. That is Jada Beverly. And Jada, she did make her debut about a couple of weeks ago at another show. Didn't do too well. She was going through a lot of stuff at the time and she just missed the mark. But I want to give a shout out to Jada. As you know, this is going to be,
Did
she
she
already
have
made her.
COVID or something?
Yeah, that's what she told me. She had gotten, and she did the show anyway. And we're talking because we talked. When I saw it, I sent her the pictures from the show. He said, "George, don't share these pictures." I said, "Okay, I won't. I won't." So she looked all right. I think I like Jada. I think she needed to take a year off and maybe make some adjustments. She's getting there, but she's still. If you look at her arms, and she's still a bit massive from physique and women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, because didn't she's doing a UK show, isn't she?
Yeah, she said that she announced that, and she's on the list.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like remember the first ever who was the first ever Dalen Bailey was the first person then, but the lady who came in after her and won like 5 titles in women's physique. What was her name? Remember?
Four. That was Julie McCarr. She won
Yeah,
four.
And I
Julie
remember
McCarthy.
I
McCartney.
remember I remember seeing Julia McCarty when that was the first time I ever did the New York Pro, and she literally said she had to stop training certain body parts for like a year because they would just grow. So I'm sure that's what Jada's going through, where she's just going to have to, in order to compete in that class, she's going to have to dummy down because like Dennis James used to say, I look at weights and grow. Some people just look at weights and fucking grow. So she's going to have to take some time off and dummy that body down, like the former champion in women's physique, 4-time champion in women's physique did. She just said I couldn't train certain body parts for a while because I would just grow. So, when you're making a transition from women's physique, from women's physique and women's bodybuilding to wellness, that's a hell of a. That's like me going from open bodybuilding to physique. How much weight I got to lose? I got to lose a lot of weight for one. And then the dynamics of things change. Do I have the size and the structure? Yeah, but that's dropping shit 30, 40 pounds. That's a lot of weight. So if not more.
Yeah. Here we got a comment from Stefan Prey says, "No, Emily Sherbert. No, Emily is taking this year off. She might compete next year. I'm hearing from some people that she might be switching over to women's bodybuilding. That's a possibility. I don't know. She might want to stick in physique, but from the last show I saw her, she just looked crazy huge, especially in the quads. She's still a bit on, I would say, the small side, but she's no bigger than someone like Ashley. Look at Ashley. Also, this is from a man, Warrior says, Stephen Prey disappointed that she's not competing for this year. She's on hiatus as far as I'm aware. The Taya Kovalova seems to be on hiatus too.
Is she even competing this year?
She posted, remember she posted the rise and then she dropped out. I don't think she's competing. I don't think she's competing period anymore. She's mostly doing modeling and doing dog shows and I think she's done for I think she's not going to compete anymore. What's the point? If you, like I said, you get invited to the Rise of Phoenix twice, and you dropped out, and you're there. Then you do that little after the Rise of Phoenix, you do the little competition, which you should have done because I know you already qualified. But hey, you're not there on stage with other women. You shouldn't have that spot. It should have been like it did this year. It should have been who's third at that show? I'm trying to remember. I think it was Michaela was third that year. I think you were there, brother. I think Michaela was third that year.
Yep.
Michaela should have been able, I think now they say now to do a little competition. That show is like, top three, who compete at the little workout thing.
Well, we all know that she was given a pass at the Olympia last year, which she didn't deserve, being fifth, because that should have been Michaela's spot. But again, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And everybody tried to argue with me. I said, this girl is the most inconsistent person on the face of the earth. Again, there are certain people that you look at and be like, mad potential, like, Roswell, mad potential. Even her mad potential, but there's a lack of consistency, and I don't know who their coaches are, but when I look at like, Maya or Boswell, especially with the unbelievable shapes that they have, it's one of those things where when I looked at Maya, I was like, when she won the New York Pro via Tampa after placing dead last in women's physique, I don't know. I thought she should have kept the look that she had, but somebody must have told her to get bigger because her waist to lat ratio was fucking ridiculous. Her shapes, and as she got bigger, she lost that conditioning in those shapes a little bit with her, And I'm like, why would you change if it ain't broke? Don't fix it, type of deal. Angela Yo, I think, is the smartest one right now that I see that understood the dynamics of what she had to do, not get too big to blow out her waistline. Because remember, that was my concern with her. I'm like, some people at their height, if they start to get too big, it starts to go to their waistline. And whatever Brandon and her did, kudos to them because she brought the noise. She brought everything that she needed to do. Like she said, her sleeping, her dieting, her cardio, everything was just on point, where it was. And sometimes you got to look at somebody like Andrea because they're so busy, because they are the champions, and there's such a high demand for them, from appearances to training people to all kinds of shit that they're not just focused on the show anymore because they have a bigger demographics and a bigger audience. And when you're the girl who's chasing after her and keep looking at the mountain saying, how the hell am I going to get to her? You and your trainer go back to the board and says, this is what we do. And hopefully, like Tyler said, you don't have to knock out the champ. You just got to be better than the champ that day. And she was just better than her that day. And she understood that she was better than her that day. And I think everybody's seen it. It was one of those things where nobody could argue the point that she wasn't better than her that day because she was. So I am super excited because it brings a better dynamics to Olympia see if she can, bring. I'm just excited to see her new package, what she can bring to the Olympia.
Yeah, we have a comment from a warrior. He says, I'm done with Natalia Kovaleva. She's a waste of time. Also, we got this from Stephen Prey. He says, Dennis James is Natalia's Kovaleva coach. Yeah, I think I've seen him. Yeah, he works with her. I mean, he even told her that she needs it because I think New York was her best look last year. New York was the best look she ever came in. And she never really capitalized on that. She just got lazy and complacent. And then not doing the Rising Phoenix just to come in, okay, you can maintain that same, where Ashley just fell off a little bit, but she got top 3, but I think one thing, beat us to be like Michaela and Sherry and, I mean, one thing, Mela was out because I think Mela's dealing with some stuff. We don't know the details of her. She's been kind of quiet, but, if Ashley can get back to that level she had in New York, she can probably crack the top 3 at that show. It's all depending. Here we got Warrior says all this fabricated political hype from the bodybuilding mainstream media for this woman, Natalia Kovaleva, who has constantly been inconsistent. Yes, that's true. My man Keith has said it several times. And also, Kovaleva didn't beat anybody this year. Yeah, she didn't do the show. And only people, if Raheem was here, you would say, yo, Raheem, where's the bear?
That's what I would say.
Where's the bear? Only thing people pay attention about Natalia Kovaleva is these.
You had I'm trying to think. You had mentioned something about Elena Alvarez as to why she was not competing anymore. I did see a blurb on her Instagram on a story. I believe it was in Spanish, but then I was able to translate it. I guess she was kind of upset at what they were rewarding at Tampa and Tupelo when she competed there, because she got 3rd place in both shows were carbon copies, because at just my own observation of both shows, they didn't reward conditioning. They rewarded mass over conditioning. Because you look at the pictures, especially, I mean, it was really interesting because Elena Alvarez and then Paula Ranta, both of them were more conditioned than the top 2. And they were both at both shows. And Elena and Paula came in way more conditioned, especially in the lower body, than the two who won. And I noticed that, but then she had posted something that I guess she was kind of upset that they did not reward conditioning. So I think that may be a reason why she may be done for the year. I'm not going to speak for her, but I mean, I can understand that. It's like if the 2 shows that you win, you get a top 3, but then it looks like that they marked you down for the thing that you're known for. Because Elena comes in fantastic conditioning, I mean, I'd be frustrated too.
Yeah, because I know Paula. She did. Paula's young. She's just 25. She did 6 shows this year. She did the show in Europa first, was her debut, where she got second to Sandra. Then she kind of like came in next to dead last at Portugal. Pops up. She does. I think she does Tampa, and she gets I think fourth.
Yep.
Yeah, fourth. And then she turns to do Texas, where I think she was in the top 10 of that show. Then do Tupelo and get I think second or no, I think she got third to Janetta Johansson, and I think she was fifth or fourth. No. I think she was fourth at the Arizona Pro because that's the one that Jody Munchuk won. Because you remember we talked about it in Janine that she knows her because they both turned pro about the same time. And with Paula, she's still young. Janine said that she still has baby muscle. She still has time to grow. I think she should have just maybe skipped a year and maybe grow a little bit because she is an ex-figure
Six is a lot of shows, man. 6 is a lot.
6, yeah. Her and Minka Farikova, they did 6 shows.
Like I said, I mean, your body, to a point, it's just not healthy. Like, fuck.
Well, with her, she's young. It's kind of like with Natalia. It's that youth sometimes will give you that little advantage. But you know as well as I do that sometimes you got to be careful. Even with the youth, you can really, dry yourself out. And, she's also gets sponsored by, I think somebody sponsors her. She's from, I think, where's Paula's from Finland. And she's sponsored by a German company because I think one of her sponsors is a figure putter, Jennifer, I forgot her name. It's with a Z. But I've seen her before. She has a great physique. But I think Paula, she needed a little more time to stew a bit, gain more size. Her condition was pretty good. But if you look at it, if you wanted somebody like, if you got to go up against somebody like, Zama Binta, who is just coming in diesel, who did have a stint in women's bodybuilding for a minute, who possibly could do well in women's bodybuilding if she switched over. Her back is just crazy. I mean, I have a video where I posted it on my YouTube, and it's just her just walking somewhere to a bus, and you can see her back. It's just the muscles just bubbly. I mean, it's just crazy how condition is. This is from a man. Warrior says, time for Raheem Hamilton to move the hell on. Seriously, get a new girl. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. We all know why Raheem is. I'm like this. I don't know. I'm trying to be nice.
I think if he met her, his opinion about her would change because she's not a nice person. I've never really talked to her because she doesn't speak very good English, but she's got that resting bitch face everywhere she goes. It's crazy. It's just she's just very unapproachable.
Yeah, actually, so, I saw her when I went to Savannah 2022. She was there, and I know she was hanging out mostly with her crowd. I think whoever she was hanging out with. I just saw her. I wasn't too impressed by her. People I get to talk with, I was cool with. That was Donna Salib and a couple of ladies got to talk with. That was nice to talk with. But like I said, I think some guys, how with us guys, we have our fantasies. And sometimes, fantasy outweighs reality. When you meet somebody, like, I don't know, maybe if I do meet Andrea one day, I might be disappointed, but I feel like I won't be. But,
No, here's the thing I can tell you about Andrea. Before I knew her, she's just a very humble, a very sweet person. You would never, even with her and John, she's so very incognito that you would never know that she was the 4-time Miss Olympia, the 4-time world champion. You would just never know that about her. That's the one thing I was very impressed by her professionalism, is that she's very approachable. Even when me and Tina went down and trained with her, she's like, girl, my phone's always open. Call me if you have any questions. She's the one, remember, she's the one that told Angela Yo. She's the one that told Ashley Jones to come over to women's bodybuilding because they needed more people like them in the category. And she didn't mind to be challenged or pushed. She wants to be challenged or pushed. So when you have a champion like that, somebody who represents the the class like that, that's the kind of person you want. So when you meet her, you'll be very impressed with her because she is very approachable person, very humble, and just a sweetheart.
Well, like I said, she took the time off and she signed this. I still love this magazine. She signed this for me. Eunice, shout out to Eunice because shout out to Eunice Kitchen. Her birthday was a couple of days ago. Happy birthday to you, Eunice. I appreciate this because I sent her a little package. Hope she gets it. Yeah, I tell you the truth. Yeah, I will hope to meet it. Here, this is from my man Warrior 2000. Says, this is where it says, wait a minute, wait about this. He says, too many shows will drag your body down, brings too much
Absolutely.
pressure on them. Yeah. I think Paula should have took the year off and really grow because they like her shape, they like her conditioning, but she's still just not at that level. If you look at the women now, and like I said, I keep saying is the physique division has evolving. It's looked more close to women's bodybuilding.
Yep.
Maybe like I would say closer to maybe closer to the Iris Kyle era than to Linda Murray. Why about that? Maybe right about there. If you look at it now, but
Yeah, because they're hard as shit.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. They just don't. So, gentlemen, I do appreciate the time y'all gave me here. We have I enjoy when I have guests on here. I was hoping to have some more people, but I can't make anybody come that wants to come. I know some people want to come, but then circumstances happen in life. That's why I said, well, I'm debating on maybe having Muscle Talk later in the evening. I don't know, maybe, or stick where I was before. If y'all feel like y'all want to come in like about 6, 7 o'clock, that'd be fine. But we're just something I'm just something I'm thinking over because I have a lot of people posting George. I won't mind like to do, but you come on a little early because because usually for me that's a good time because early in the afternoon is good. You just be done and then I have the rest of the day do what I need to do. But
work with my shift change, so that would be a lot easier to do. So
yeah. Well, I'll think about it. Maybe have like maybe around 5 or 6. I know Keith he has to do daddy stuff, so
No, not on Mondays. Mondays is my day off. He's just tired because his day starts at 5 a.m. fucking cardio and pose and all kinds of shit. So, it's part of the business.
Yeah, I think I'll wait into this. I might think about maybe doing like maybe after 5. I know some people who told me, said, George, I would love to do your podcast, but sometimes I'm doing this and this in the afternoon. But yeah, it's just something I'm thinking about. Yeah. I've done it before. I remember we had
George, I can tell you this though. If me and Tina decide to do the Chicago Pro next year, because I know you said we should do the Tampa Chicago Pro next year, we're gonna fly you out there with us.
I'm not ready for flight, man. I'm not ready for that. I don't know if
we'll give
ready.
you gas money, whatever you choose to do, we'll give you gas money and put you up. We'll get an Airbnb, and so we'll put you up. Hey, you understand? When I first met Tina, she hated flying. So when I met her, I was guest posting at the Hawkeye Open in Iowa, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna fly you to New York." Well, she didn't tell me that she didn't like flying. So I'm like, it's one of those things when you meet a person, she's like, "Oh, this guy's full of shit. He's not gonna fly me to New York." I'm like, my travel agent called her like, "Hey, I need your name. Got to book your ticket." And so she's sitting between two guys on the plane. Is like, "You married? You married?" They're like, "No." She's like, "Well, I'm about to fucking wrap my arms around you guys because I hate flying." And so we just got to give you a Valium or some dog or a drink or something. You'll be fine.
No, you gotta do like you gotta do like Mr. T. Put something in my milk.
Yeah, tranquilizer.
hey, fool. I think because
you said you want to go to a show, so I'm extending an invitation.
Like I said, I know. I gotta get. I say one thing. I'm always like this. I gotta
Suck it up, Buttercup.
I gotta get out of my own way. And like I said, I do want the opportunity to go to shows and check out and say, I would love to get to see. If I do go and I say, my dear brother Lucy. I say, if you read the classic movie, The Golden Child, that's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
We're here from my man Stephen Prey. He says, saw Kovaleva at the Chicago Pro. Big whoop. She should have done the show if she felt like but no, I think she wouldn't have done well because, especially Sherry and Hunter, they were really impressive. I watched that show. Those two, that was really a real battle for first place. If Sherry had won at Portugal, she wouldn't have to do the Chicago Pro, and Hunter would have got that show. But it's just how it is. Yeah. But like I said, I think I might consider it. I mean, because not much to do. I'm just like I said, give me some time to work on some stuff and finish them early, and then and I can eat my supper a little earlier, and then come out here about 5. I think that could work 5 maybe 4.
Yeah.
And I think I can work. I can do that.
That'd work.
Yeah, work. Okay. Good to be. We could be more.
Not often you get an invitation like that. Especially from the 2 IFBB pros. So
well, like I said,
you don't get that often, man.
I will tell you, brother, I will consider it. I will consider it because
if your car's fixed, then you just gotta send your gas money then.
No. That thing, I wouldn't drive that thing clear across the other side of South Carolina.
Hey,
no.
Then you can't keep talking about you want to go to a show and setting up, this GoFundMe to go to a show and then don't go to a goddamn show.
I'm going to a show. I built this shit.
You the one that said you do Tampa or Chicago, and then I'm sitting there extending the olive branch to and then you want to
Tampa.
Well, it's not. Huh? Well, yeah, but you got to consider if his car is shit. I mean, he has to drive to the airport.
Well,
that is a consideration because my car is the same way now.
I leave in 2 weeks. And I called my guy. I'm like, hey, my car's gonna be sent to the airport 2 weeks. And I drop me off the airport, pick me up. He's like, bet. So
well, I know my older sister Betty. She'll probably drop me off. I think would be the best place probably. Or my niece, she lives in Atlanta, and I could ride to her to Atlanta. Because I think Atlanta's airport would be probably a lot better. It's Charlotte or Raleigh are probably Charlotte or either Raleigh or probably one of those two. I'll look it up to see what would be a flight schedule for like that. If not, I can
every time I go through Charlotte, I get stuck there.
Yeah, so I think I might think about just because I'm planning on going to Atlanta and checking out the Atlanta Pro. And I think if it's the same schedule I was before, then if I see my niece and she takes me to the airport in Atlanta, then I can go to Chicago. Just like I said, this is from a man from he says, train ticket. Well, I learned that not every train goes to a certain set. That's what I learned. I remember somebody said they want to come to one of the shows and I say, yeah, what's the train like? Say they don't do trains that far. You got to fly. But I think if I think about it, and if the Atlanta Pro is the same schedule like they had for Tampa, I checked out the Atlanta show. I can stay with my niece, and the Atlanta airport can take me to Chicago. I think I can probably swing that. I think I can. We'll see what happens, brother. We'll probably swing it.
Well, yeah, I extended the invitation. You got a whole year to think about it.
Yeah, I got a whole year to think about it. First, I got to get my money up because I'm broke. But yeah, I do appreciate you, brother, and you're looking out for me and your wife and everybody.
Always, though.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. Jeremy coming on here. Shout out to man KL. He had to step away. He has an interview. I might check it out. His interview. He's having interviews while we're doing our finish up the live stream. Shout out to the competitors who are competing the show. No live stream, which is crazy because it's just people want to see these shows. No one's going to go all the way to the UK. That's too expensive. It's not that. It's not like the technology's not there. Maybe the guy who had it in Spain should have kept it in Spain. I don't know why he let it go. But
there's no reason for them not to do it in this day and age.
No,
nope.
The church I grew up in, they've started streaming their stuff online. You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked as the kind of amount of gear that they have. But the thing is, the entire crew that does that, teenagers.
Yeah.
All teenagers. So they're able to put on a couple of sermons every week and broadcast it live throughout the entire world. Group of teenagers can do that. Why can't you? For me, there is absolutely no excuse anymore other than you're just, unfortunately, the bodybuilding community, I don't know if I've said this before in the show, but they really take a backwards look towards technology. They really do.
It's funny.
So back when they had forum boards, when that was the primary Well, now it's the primary social media platforms that we had. Everybody else, like NFL, ABC, NBC, all of them were starting to broadcast their stuff with streaming technology. We were still talking about texted play-by-plays
Yeah.
of bodybuilding shows and forum boards. It's like, why do we take this backwards view towards technology?
Because it's not like the UK is not like a fifth world country. You
Right.
know, you could, and like I said again, like one person who doesn't do live streams is Jack Tatone. You know, Jack Tatone.
All right.
You have two
And
popular
the crazy
shows.
thing is, if the crazy is not to cut you off, but if you listen to Tyler Mannion, what did he say this year when they did the Arnold Classic UK? It was a phenomenal show. It was sold out, jam packed. He can't wait to go there next year for it because Europeans love bodybuilding. They love it. They absolutely eat this shit up. So to, like Art and you both said, to not be able to put on the live stream for this show is just, it's just lazy.
It's not like the Arnold doesn't have the money for it. We are talking
Yeah.
about the Arnold, for crying out loud.
I think the
So
Yeah.
because I think the Arnold class was free. I think he said it was free. He didn't
Yeah.
charge it. He didn't charge. You can watch it for free. And I don't think the Two Bros is the one we're doing the Arnold UK show, but now I don't think they're part of the Arnold anymore. That's why I think they took this show over from the guy in Spain. And it's just you can get like college students, high school students who are up on this technology, and that's why children pay attention to more. And it's funny thing, it's very important for a lot of these bodybuilders and also social media influencers. Because you gotta think about like me, even I got a phone, I got a tablet, I got two laptops. I try to keep up what's going on, on social media, especially with technology. It's important. I might have some bitches there now and then, but it's just the way of the future. You have to go forward. You can't be like the old days where you just listen to radio, or when we were growing up, we were poor. We had the clothes
Antenna.
wire antenna, and, or you use a wire, and you used to get more channels if the weather's really bad, if it's raining and lightning and thunder.
yeah, but back in the day, all you had was the muscle mags, because there was no
Yeah.
internet. There was no internet.
Nope.
So it's like if you wanted to find out anything bodybuilding, that's where you had to go.
Yeah.
Unless you went to the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I want to do that, because I really want to interact with some of these ladies who I've interviews with, people that I've met doing this content, and and I've been offered. But like I said, brother, if everything goes right where I want it to go right, yeah, I think I'll take the invitation. Honestly, will.
It's a great experience.
Yeah. I know. I enjoyed going to Savannah. It was way up to. I hate that I missed my train, but my niece was good enough. She came from Atlanta to take me back home.
And then, and like Chicago and Tampa, those are two great shows. They're just star-studded, lineups, and it's just a great production that Tim Gardner puts on.
Yeah, I follow Tim Garden. He does. What he need to do is that show Atlanta Coast should add women's bodybuilding. He should do that. That'd be a great opportunity for some competitors. There's a couple of shows. That new show in Florida, they should add maybe physique women's bodybuilding. I think it's just men's classic, figure, and I think wellness or bikini. It's these new shows. It's up to these promoters and you get the sponsors. That's why I keep saying, guys out there, if you're a fan of sport, I know a lot of your fans. You want to be undercover sports, your fans. You got deep pockets. Reach out to these promoters. If you feel like there's not enough women bodybuilding shows, get together. Reach out to these promoters. Set up the sanctioning fee. Set up the prize money. Do what you can do. Talk to these guys' ears. Money talks, bullshit walks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, brothers, I appreciate you for coming through. Shout out for my man Warrior 2000 was here. Stefan Prey that was here. Also, Balls Deep was here for a bit. All you watch this live stream, MuscleTalk Monday 204. I appreciate your time. Shout out my man, my big brother, Big Keith. Shout out my man, Jeremy. Thank you for coming through, brothers. And I appreciate your time. You should man all the way Church Page, aka the Emperor of, don't like, subscribe. Good night, good morning, and good evening.